Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, today I have a drone that's a little bit different than what I typically present on my channel. This one is kind of on the toy grade part of the spectrum with drones, but it still has enough advanced features that I figured it was worth showing it to you. This is the Holy Stone HS175. Now, it's a product that is probably appropriate for children, under adult supervision once they learn how to fly it. I think you could turn them loose to it with it, but also it has enough features on it that it would be appealing, I believe, to an adult that just wants to try out the hobby. Doesn't want to spend a lot of money on a drone, but just wants to see if flying a drone is something that they're interested in. And when I say flying a drone, again, on my channel, we primarily deal with GPS camera drones. So what we're always looking for is decent video and decent flyability with the drones. Let's just quit messing around. Let's pull it out of the case here and show it to you. So there you go. That's what the drone looks like in the case, and I always appreciate it when they give you the complete kit, and you're not then, if you just buy a drone in a box, you're trying to figure out how to carry this stuff around in a backpack or something like that. Well, in this case, they give you everything you need to carry it around. So let's take a look at the drone. So this is a folding drone. It is under 200 grams. So you're not going to have to register this with the FAA. Anything under 249 grams does not require registration. You'll see the camera on the front here, right there, and you'll also notice that there is no gimbal on this guy. It's just a fixed camera. You can adjust it 90 degrees up and down. But there's no gimbal on there, so you're not going to get stabilized video. And it doesn't have electronic image stabilization either, so you can count on fairly shaky video. And it is 2K by 2080, so some people call that 1080 video, some people call it 2K, whatever it is. The exact number is, let me read it here so I get it right, it is 2048 by 1080p. And it will also shoot pictures as well. But you'll take a look at it here. What does it remind you of? Well, it looks a lot like the Mavic Mini. No doubt that was the inspiration for the shape of this drone. But it's no Mavic Mini. Don't buy this thinking that you're getting a bargain version of the Mavic Mini, because it just simply isn't going to have the range, the flyability, nor the camera quality of that drone. Doesn't mean it's a bad drone, it just means that it's not that. So the battery, typically, as these drones go, right in the back here. Let's pull it out, and there you can see that little guy. It's a LiPo battery, and you do get two of them in the kit. It is 7.6 volt, 1300 milliamps. They are claiming, and I'm looking on my paper here, flight time of 22 minutes. Now, every drone manufacturer, and I am telling you, every drone manufacturer exaggerates their flight time. The reality is, if you get 15 minutes flight time, you'll be probably doing pretty good, and that's okay. I mean, 15 minutes is a long time to have a drone in the air. Folding props, as you can see, so it's got a lot of advanced features, and it feels pretty good. It feels like it's pretty decent quality. A lot of these drones, the plastic is really thin on them and so forth. This guy feels pretty well built. A couple of features I want to show out to you. You've got the power button here on the top, and just a long press will fire up the drone. And you can see the lights flashing on the drone there. And we'll turn it back off. Again, a long press to shut it down. I do want to point out that it does have an optical flow sensor on the bottom. In this price range, that's phenomenal. What does an optical flow sensor do? Well, that helps tell the drone when it's at lower altitudes, it can tell if it's moving or not by looking at the ground, and so it helps it stay in place. I do want to point out that they do give you a second battery in this kit, which is really handy. And then the other thing, let me show it to you here. They give you 2 chargers, which is really cool, so that you're not stuck charging one battery at a time. And it is a proprietary charger, so you need this to charge the batteries on it, but they give you 2 of them. So that's pretty handy, and you just plug that into a your usual 2 amp USB charger, and it's got a light in here. The green light will blink while it's charging. Once that light is solid, you know then that it's fully charged. And again, they give you 2 of them so you can charge both batteries at one time. I'm not going to pull everything out here, but they also give you a couple extra props and some prop guards. Now, the prop guards, you may, if you've got a younger flyer, and you may want to put the prop guards on there. I will not, but it's also good to have some extra props in case you need them. So they also give you documentation, and this is a fairly easy to read manual. Sometimes the documentation on these drones is not very clear. I found this one to be very clear and covers most everything. The thing that it doesn't cover that I noticed is the intelligent flight modes, the orbit, waypoints, etc. But those will be in the app and should be fairly intuitive. And when we do the flight portion of the test, we'll stumble through it together and we'll take a look and see how those work. Here's the remote for the HS175. And well, I'm going to say it definitely is a kind of a toy grade feeling remote. It is also fairly well built. Now it just has a single antenna. Now I can't tell if that antenna has a wire in it or not, if it's just there for looks or if it's the real deal. I tend to believe that it might be the real thing, because why would they put just one if they wanted to make it look, professional? They'd put 2 of them on there. So I think very likely it probably is a real antenna, so you'll want to flip that up. And then you've also got a couple of handles here that flip down, and you could fly the drone with those still flipped up or not. But I do want to point out to you something very important. It's got a micro USB charge port there. Why is that important? That also always helps for the power of the charger. The power of the remote control. I found that remotes that simply use AAA batteries or AA batteries, they just don't quite have the power. So it's encouraging that this has an internal battery. I'm just looking on here on the back here, it says it's a 380 milliamp battery inside there. And it does include a charge cable. So USB to micro USB, and you would simply plug that micro USB into the remote, the USB end into a charger, and charge this guy up. Now, how do you know when it's charged or not? Well, let's open it up here. And this is where your smartphone would hold in there. And it looks like it's going to be stay wide enough for, I've got an iPhone Max, so it should fit in there pretty good. And then, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there is a little light there, and that light will be red while it's charging, and when it goes out, you'll know that it's fully charged. So the controls are pretty simple. You've got a power button right here. You have a one-key takeoff button right there. The middle button there is a compass calibration button. You push that to calibrate the compass, and then one-key return or return to home button is that last one there. And if you're out someplace and you just want the drone to come back and land, press that button and it will, via GPS, come back and land. Now on the back of the drone here, single push here to start recording, single push on the next one to take a picture, And these two buttons are how you adjust that camera up and down. And while I haven't tried it yet, I'm sure it probably goes in increments up and down. So I realized I didn't mention the gimbals on the front of the controller. This is yawing back and forth on this one. Power throttle up and down, so raise altitude, drop altitude, roll this way, and pitch this way. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. So I made myself some notes here, and I think I've talked about most of this already, but I just want to make sure. They're saying that it has a max transmission distance of 300 meters. That's just under 1,000 feet. It says outdoor and unobstructed. Now, what I'm going to tell you is you're not probably going to want to fly that far. I would not fly this more than 100 meters out, probably, that's about 300 feet. This is not a drone you're going to get a lot of range out of, so my advice would be to keep this guy pretty close, and we may try that out a little bit when we do our test flight, and we'll see what kind of range it can get. But that said, it also, they're saying a max supported SD card is 64 gigabyte. I'll be honest with you, you're not going to need one that big. I would just grab a 16 gigabyte card. Probably just a U1 card would be more than enough for this guy. And it does, I forgot to show you where the SD card slot is, and it's right there. So you just push an SD card slot in there. Now, I noticed that I was reading some of their ads, and they said that it saves pictures to your mobile device. So I'm assuming it would save them both to your mobile device and the SD card. Don't know for certain. I can tell you I'm quite certain that the video will be saved to the SD card. And often if it does save to the mobile device, it is of lesser resolution than what you get on the SD card. So I realized that I didn't show you the box that the drone comes in when I started the video. So here it is, and let me tell you what comes in the box here. So you get the drone itself, the transmitter, 2 batteries, 2 spare propellers, 2 USB charging cables, 1 charging cable for the transmitter, and the propeller guards and the manual. And we looked at all that stuff. So I guess that's about it. There's really only one thing left for us to do, and that's to take this guy out and fly it. So what I'll do is I will take it out to the park, and we'll take it out for a flight, and we'll try a Waypoint mission with it. We'll do, aside from just normal flight and seeing how it flies and see what kind of video we can get, we'll try a Waypoint mission. We'll try the orbit mode, and we'll try the follow me function that comes with the drone, and we'll see how all that stuff works. And mostly we just want to see how it flies. Like I said, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get stabilized video with this drone. You will get video. Hopefully it'll be clear and jello free, but the video is going to be jumpy just because this is not a stabilized camera on the front, and so that's to be expected. Another thought before I take this out, is that I again want to talk about who this drone is probably for. If you've got kids that want to try and fly a drone, I think I would do it first with adult supervision, but I'm quite sure that once they learn how to fly it, they could go out on their own with it. And then if you're an adult and you just want to see if GPS camera drones are something that you would like to try and are interested in, this is a good way to start. So let's quit messing around and let's go out and let's get this bird in the air. Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. We're out in the field now with the Holy Stone HS175 folding quadcopter. Now, I got a little story I need to tell you before we start here. I actually came out yesterday to film this segment out in the field and had a lot of trouble with this guy. I could not get the app to connect to my iPhone 11. Tried all kinds of different tricks, made sure I had all the settings okay in the iPhone, went over the manual again with a fine-tooth comb, looked up some things online, In any case, I couldn't get this guy to fully connect. It would partially connect to the app, but not fully. So I have also have an iPhone 10 at home, and so I messed around with that last night, and I was able to get this iPhone 10 to connect to the app. So I'm back out today to try this out. Now, why that is, I have no idea. Both of them are 5G phones, etc. No idea. All the permissions were correct within the iPhone. It just didn't work. So that's something to bear in mind if you buy this drone. And then also, I've had a few occasions that the RC for the Holy Stone drone would not connect correctly to the drone. So don't know what that's about either, but we're going to give it another shot today. I've got 2 fully charged batteries, and we're going to see if we can get this little guy in the air. So give me just a second and we'll get fired up. Okay, so the first step here is to fire up the drone, and I've got it down on the ground here laying flat. You need to do that to get a good gyro calibration. So I'm going to get down and turn it on. And that is simply a long press of the power button. And then I've already connected it to Wi-Fi on this drone. So let's go ahead and turn on the controller. That's the power button right here. And then to connect, to bind the controller to the drone, you simply with the left stick go up and then down. And you'll see we have a solid green light there. So that means we're connected. We're going to be able to tell here in a second. I'm going to click on the app here, this button that says prepare and calibration, and this will be the gyro calibration. So I'm going to click on that. Sensor calibrating, it says, and it did calibrate, so we're good. So now we're going to do the magnetic calibration. So I'm going to click calibrate again. So let's go into the app again, and I'm going to try one more time here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and it's just not taking it. Okay, so we're going to try something different here. We're going to hit the calibration button on the controller. Yeah, that seemed to work. So now let's tip it up. The rear lights were flashing quickly. Yeah, and now the lights are solid. The rear lights on the drone are solid, so it says we're good. And we do have FPV on the drone, so that's good. We should be ready to go here. Let's see if we can pick the camera up. So this is kind of the same issue that I had yesterday. Let's see if we can arm the motors, and you arm the motors by going both sticks down and in. Yeah, and nothing. So interestingly enough, I was able to get the controller to work yesterday, and I flew it a little bit, but today, even though the controller had the solid light, says it's connected to the drone, nothing. And I had this problem last night, and I wondered if it's just because I didn't have GPS. Okay, so let's try something here. I'm going to hit takeoff on the app. Please unlock the drone first. Well, I'd love to do that, but it won't. It's just not happening. Yeah, so interestingly enough, okay, so I'm gonna turn the power off on the controller, and we're gonna power it back up and see if we can rebind. So to do that, you simply hit the power button, and the green light is blinking up and then down. As soon as the green light is solid, then you're connected. So let's try that again. I'm going to move closer to the drone. So what's interesting is we do have some kind of a connection, because as you'll recall, when I hit the button to calibrate the compass, it worked. So clearly the thing is connected, but this is distressing, because if you're a beginner, you're not going to want to mess around with this stuff. So let's try that one more time. And I had a little bit of this kind of problem yesterday, but overcame it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to power everything off. We'll go through this whole system again and see if we can get this guy going. Hey, what do you know? I got the motors to power up. So let's see if we can start up the app. And we got nothing on the app yet. Okay, let's make sure that we are connected. We are connected via Wi-Fi. So let's fire up that app again. There we go. Okay, well, at least we have, hey, listen, we might have this. Miracle of miracles. So the only thing I can say that I did different that time is that before I connected to the app, I turned on the controller. So let's try that again. Okay, hey, we're going to get takeoff here. So I'm going to hit takeoff on the app. Hey, all right, look at that. There we go. Unbelievable. I'm shocked. So we've got it in the air. Let's see if we can pick up the camera. I'm hitting up on the camera. There we go. Okay, got the camera up a little bit. Let's bring the drone up. I'll turn it around and bring it in here a little bit. And you see the drone sinking there a little. Let's get a good shot of it here. Rock it back and forth. Although on this guy there's no gimbal, so no point in that really. Okay, I'm going to back it up just a little bit just for the fun of it. And let's see if we can start recording on the controller. Now, yesterday I had an issue with this. When I hit the button on the controller, it didn't give me any indication on the app. So let's try it right now. One click. Hey, look at that. So it says we started recording. So that's good. So we started recording. Let's do our usual droney. We're going to go reverse and up. So reverse and up. And the drone is, there you go. So let's point the camera down just a tad. And let's go back and up a little more. So just as you would expect, because there is no gimbal, you're going to see a lot of rocking back and forth and so forth on the app here with the camera. The camera is limited to the pitch and roll of the drone, because there's no, so for instance right now you see it looks a little crooked. That's because the drone is probably fighting a little bit of wind up there, and it's a little sideways in pointed towards the wind. And we've got good telemetry. We're 72 meters out and 22 meters high. So the first thing that we want to do here is test return to home. So let's do that right now. I hit return to home, and look at that, it says coming home. So that's good. Hey, I'm starting to feel good at this, starting to feel like we made some progress. So the drone is coming back just a little bit crooked. It's dog-legging a little bit. Let's see if we can point that camera down. And you can kind of see where it's at. It's going to be a little ways away. I'll pick the camera back up. Yeah, well, it's coming in closer. It's zeroing in, so it's going to land, oh, I'm going to say about 1.5 feet from the landing pad there. You saw that take off. Okay, let's fire up the motors again, and let's see if we can take it for a little flight around the park. Let's see how well it does. There, we got the motors to fire up. I'm going to hit takeoff on the controller. And yeah, it did just fine. Took right off. And boy, we had a little gust of wind come up, but it's doing okay. We got like 8-mile-an-hour winds today, so it's kind of windy. Trying to pick the camera up here a little bit, but I think it's kind of pushing in towards the wind. This isn't the most powerful drone, so I'm not going to take it too high off the ground in these kind of winds. Let's see if we can pick up that gimbal a little more. There we go, that's better. There we can see a little bit of the horizon. Let's see how far out here we can get the drone. It's supposed to have a 300-meter range. I am not going to recommend that. We're going to go out here about 100 meters according to this thing, and we'll see how it does. So there's 100 meters, and I still have good control. I'm testing control of the drone, and we're only 9 meters high. We can probably go a little higher than that. Let's go up a little ways. And let's go further out towards that corner of the park. And as you can see, as I give it forward pitch, you can see the drone pitches down a little bit. But we've got, it seems, you know, good FPV. The FPV seems to be holding up pretty well. Go a little further. Yeah, the wind seems to be pushing it back here, so I'm not going to push my luck. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to try and turn it around. Yeah, I am not able to yaw the drone, so I'm going to hit return to home on the controller. Let's see if the drone takes the command. While we still have FPV, the drone isn't taking any commands from the controller. There we go. I was able to get it on the app. So on the app, it took the command. So I guess what I'm going to tell you is I would keep this drone fairly close in. Obviously, you're not going to be able to go. It's not going to have very long range. Like I said, they say 300 meters. I wouldn't fly it. I wouldn't take it out more than 100 meters. Which is about 300 feet. And at this price range of a drone, that's reasonable. We're about halfway through the battery. I'm going to see if I can cancel that return to home. And I could, and I did that with the controller. So once we got a little bit closer in, the controller worked fine. So let's take the drone back up. I'm going to go back up in the air, and I'm going to see if we can do a little bit of a waypoint mission. So I'm going to click on, I clicked on those, looks like blocks in the bottom left, and then I'm going to click on that. Yeah, and so we got the map here. Yeah, the problem is without having this phone that I have does not have a cell connection, so we don't have a map on there, which can make it a little bit tough. But let's just put maybe a couple points. Let's get in really close here. And let's just do a couple of points. 3 points, and let's upload that to the drone and let's see what it does. And it is, it's going to its first point. It's doing it just fine. Okay, let's go back to this so you can see it on picture. So it's at the, it's going to the first point. Which is way further out than I thought. Seems to have stopped. Yeah, we're gonna take it out of that. So let's see, how do we end that? Oh no, there it's at its first point. So, and it's going to its second now. Okay, I was a little concerned there. So, okay, so now we lost all the points on there. So I'm going to hit return to home. No, cancel. We do not want it to land. We want return to home. Okay, so the drone's coming back. So we lost connection there again, and I just walked out into the field until I could get connection again with the app, and I hit return to home. So it's coming back. So the problem, it looked like it worked. The problem was the points that I set on for the waypoints were just way too far out there. Because I didn't have a map, it was hard to tell the distance. Okay, we're going to cancel this, return to home. And let's see if we can get it to do an orbit. So I'm going to back it out into the field. Okay, we're going to back this guy out a ways. So what's odd is, you know, I have limited, sometimes this controller actually controls the drone and sometimes it doesn't. I was trying to change the pitch of the camera there and was unable to do it. And sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. So I'm going to go back and we're going to see if we can do an orbit. Yeah, there I got the camera to move a little bit. And that could just be a delay that I'm seeing in the FPV lag. So I clicked on circle. So let's go ahead and start. Confirm. And the drone should be spinning around now. And I should be able to, oh, it's orbiting me. So I understood the, probably understood the directions wrong. So my understanding was that you could back it off. Let's see if we can. No, when I read the instructions, it said you could back it off with the stick, and clearly it's not doing that. But we did get an orbit, so I'd have to say that's a good thing. So now, how do we stop that orbit? There remains a question. Okay, we clicked on it again, cancel circle fly. So I couldn't see the same little blocks there. I simply clicked on that to cancel. There was no actual cancel button, but as soon as I clicked on that, it stopped. So let's see if we can do a follow me. And we're getting pretty good flight time here, by the way. I'm gonna lower the drone down here a little ways. And well, heck, let's try a optical, it's not optical positioning mode, cannot start vision following. So I don't know what that means, but evidently it's not gonna do that. Yeah, I tried drawing a square around it, didn't. Okay, so let's try it GPS. So we're gonna click confirm. Holy cow, the drone's going nuts. Yeah, we're gonna take it out of that. Yeah, the drone really took off there. So that was not, that didn't make me feel good. Okay, I'm going to get out here a little bit further. We'll try that again. Okay, so I'm going to hit that and GPS follow. And it's going nuts. Yeah, I don't recommend that GPS follow. The drone just started going sideways, and yeah, that is I'm not going to recommend that. Whatever it was doing, it wasn't following me or the phone here. So it's interesting. We still have about half battery, so let's get a little height again, see if I can pick up that camera once more. It can be the controls can be kind of sluggish, so I'm gonna fly it out to that towards the other corner of the park here. Whoops. Well, that was interesting. And the drone, I don't know if the drone, yeah, so we have a connection again, but and the drone did a return to home, so yeah, it must have been low battery. So that was weird. It just the app crashed, and the drone so the drone clearly went into low battery return to home, but the app crashed there. Yeah, now it's saying low battery. And the funny thing about it is, just the second before that, it still had half battery on there. So that battery meter is a little wonky. I'd be careful. Although I will say, it seemed like we got pretty good flight time. I do have another battery. Let's put another battery in it, and let's see if we can take some pictures with the drone, try that, and then maybe we'll try a Waypoint mission again. Okay, I had to restart our screen recording again there, but it looks to me like we're ready to go. We've got a full battery. I did the calibrations. Now, I want to note that the only way that it seems I could get a good, hey, listen, we can look at this, we got control of the camera again too. The only way that I could get it to do the magnetic calibration is by pressing the middle button on the controller. I couldn't do it from the app. It just didn't seem to work. So the other thing that I did is, in between changing batteries, I hooked this phone up to my other phone that does have a cell connection, and I went back into the app, and I'm hoping that I loaded the maps, and it looks like it on the screen here, so I should be able to do a little better job on a Waypoint mission. So let's quit messing around and let's take off, and we'll even try the speed modes here and see if we can see a difference. So down and in to start the motors, and they fired up. I hit takeoff on the controller. That worked. So far so good. Let's go ahead and start recording. I'm going to push that here on the controller, and that's right. Now I want to say that last battery, hopefully it saved that last video that I did with it, because when the app crashed, it didn't show that it was recording. I tried to turn it off, so I don't know if it closed out that file. I may have lost that file, might be corrupt. So let's go ahead and take it up in the air here, and we've started recording, and let's see if we can map out a Waypoint mission here. And we're going to try and get one that's really close. So I am going to go and look at it. It's got a circular area there that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm going to go one there, one there, one there, one there, and one in the middle. So that's 5 waypoints, and let's see if we can get the drone to take that. So I sent it to the drone, and the drone is going up. So it must have a minimum height for waypoints. Went up to 17 meters and it's moving. It's heading to that first waypoint. And boy, oh boy, it is different than it shows on the map here, because it's going out there a ways. But it is moving now to the second waypoint. And it's moving right along. I don't see any speed indicator on this drone, but now let me tell you, it's moving. And it's almost to the second waypoint. There it is, on its way to the third. Let's and let me tell you what, it's moving right along, and I can tell you that the dots that I put on this map it's out there further than what it looks like on the map, I guess is the best way to say that. So now we're on our way to the fourth waypoint. Which is out there a ways, so let's see where it goes. Now it's turning, heading to number 5, and let me tell you what, it pitches right forward, heads for that waypoint. It doesn't mess around. Okay, so it's at its last waypoint, so let's go back into the app here, and we see a gentleman out there playing a little golf, it looks like. So I'm going to yacht around and we're going to go out to this other corner, and we're getting a pretty good breeze here, so I don't want to get too carried away. I'm going to drop some altitude and we're going to pitch forward a little bit. And that's the thing, when you don't have a gimbal, the drone will pitch forward when you head forward, so it can be kind of tough to see where you're going. See if I can pick the camera up a little bit. And we got a little breeze kicking up here, so I'm going to kick it forward just a little. And I can see that I'm still moving because I can look at the ground. And we're out there about 100 meters. So, wow, we got a pretty good little wind kicked up. I want to take it up higher and take some pictures, but I don't want to do it while we got this wind. It's definitely moving the drone around. You can see that. Okay, it's kind of calmed down a little bit, so I'm going to pick the drone up a little bit. And see if we can pick up the camera. That looks like probably as far as it's going to go. I'm going to stop recording. And I did that on the app. I'm going to switch to camera and I'm going to take a picture. And I'm going to see if I can pitch the drone back and take another picture. So I'm going to pitch back and take a picture. Well, sort of. I don't know if that worked very well or not. Okay. So let's go ahead and see, let's try a speed mode here. I'm going to bring the drone directly back to me. And it's taking commands. It's taking commands much better now than it did before. Let's see, I forgot, we should start video again. So I'm going to switch back into video mode, start video, and I did that on the app. And I'm bringing it back. You know, what I'm going to say is it does pretty good for the amount of wind that we have here today. I'm actually pretty impressed with how it's powering through it. So so let's bring it back to us, and boy, I'm watching it pitch. So let's see if we can mess around with speed modes here. I'm going to turn it the other direction, and I'm going to bring it down lower so that I can make sure I get a good line of sight on it. And I'm going to back it up to us, and let's try and change it to change the speed mode here. Now I should be able to do that right here on the app. Unable to switch fast or slow. It says remote control priority, so don't know what that means. I think I can change that speed by pushing down on the left stick. Let's try it. Yeah, no, that didn't really change anything. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, so how we change that speed mode on the remote, a lot of times you can, I know if I push it on this stick, that will change the way the stick operates. We can try that though. Let's try it. Yeah, look at that. That got us to 100%. Okay. So maybe if I held it, a long press probably is what changes it, but changes the way. When I was messing around with it yesterday, if I long pressed this stick, it reversed the way the sticks operated. So let's try and go forward and see if it's any faster. So full stick forward now. And I got to be honest with you, it's fast, but I don't know that it's any faster than it was before. So I'm going to point it back towards us. Yeah, boy, I'll tell you what, this thing is... It can be difficult to control, is what I'm telling you, to be steady on the sticks. And you definitely have some FPV lag. Okay, so I'm going to go full stick forward, and we're going to go right over the top of us here. So full stick forward right now. And I mean, it's pitching forward, but I thought it pitched harder in the other modes. So I don't know. I don't think it's any faster, I'll be honest with you. Bring her down here and bring it in again, and then we're going to go back to 50% speed, and I'll let you guys decide. It definitely moves around, and you know, this isn't a precision drone that you're going to do any precision flying with. I can tell you that it moves around some. But I will say also we've got a fair amount of wind today. Okay, so I'm going to hit that button again and see if we can go. Yeah, that takes us back to 50%. So let's turn around again, and I'm going to bring it back towards us a little bit. And I'm going to hit full stick forward again, and you guys tell me what you think if we increased any speed. So full stick forward. And I'm telling you, I don't see any difference in speed at all. So I don't think that speed control really makes any big difference. And one of the things I'm also going to caution you about is the lag in the app makes it difficult to fly this drone first person view. It's a little bit of a guess. So I would, what I would recommend is that you try and yeah, low battery. So it's going to bring it back to us here, which is interesting because it's still showing half battery. So let's go ahead and hit return to home, and it's raising to its return to home height. So what I'm going to tell you is keep this drone pretty close in, don't fly it out very far. That's what I'm going to say about that. And it's coming down. What I'll say is the GPS is fairly accurate on this guy. You're going to see it come down here, and it's, you know, it's going to be, I don't know, 3 feet from the pad maybe. And it shuts down. And I'm going to stop recording so that we don't lose that that file. And yeah, okay. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll talk about the drone a little bit. Hey, okay guys, the Holy Stone HS175. You know, it's clearly intended as a beginner drone, and it works, it flies. A couple of recommendations I'm going to make is fly it on pretty calm days. Although it was relatively windy today, I know that definitely affected the drone because you saw it moving around quite a bit at the wind. I think you'll get better results on a calmer day. And then the other thing I'll say is it's not probably the easiest drone to control. It moves around a little bit, and the controller is fairly vague, and then you have enough lag in FPV that you can't always rely on what you're seeing on that FPV screen. So always keep it within line of sight so you can see what the drone is doing. We tried the follow me function. I do not recommend that. Every time I put it into GPS follow me, the drone just kind of took off on its own and really was not following the controller, the GPS on the controller like it's supposed to do. The optical follow me function, you saw the error mode on screen. I can't remember what it said, could not enter optical mode or whatever. So, you know, I would question that on a drone of this price range anyway, because that typically those kind of optical follow me's take a fair amount of processing power. So sometimes that tries to use the processor on your phone. I don't know. You know, the drone, I guess, you know, it flies fairly reasonably. I already know what the picture quality looks like, and the picture quality is okay. I mean, there's not a lot of jello in it, but it is real bouncy, so expect that. And the photographs that you take, they're going to have a little bit of that fisheye effect, but you know, they're okay when you consider this is a beginner drone. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to I just see I still had it on there, so I turned it off. So what I'm going to tell you is, yeah, if you're looking for a beginner GPS drone, you might try this one. You know, you can pick it up on Amazon now for, they got a $20 off coupon on there for 130 bucks. So, you know, it might be worth a try at that. I got to be honest with you, if it were me, I would probably spend a little more money and step up to a drone that has a gimbal on it and maybe a little more range, etc. The only other thing that I want to add is that I am fairly experienced in flying drones, and I spent a lot of time, I dedicated a lot of time to get this thing to work for me. And in fact, it didn't work it absolutely would not work with my iPhone 11. Why it works with the iPhone 10 and not the 11, I have no clue. The controller, I think I kind of figured out the magic there. You turn on the drone, turn on the controller, bind the controller. So bind the controller to the drone first and then connect your app. And that's what seemed to work for me today. The instructions are a little bit vague about that. The instructions, if you talk, it's talking about hooking up the Wi-Fi first. So in any case, you might just have to experiment around and see what works for you. But we did get it in the air, and we were able to fly it around, and we went through a couple batteries. I had a couple of nervous moments there. That first Waypoint mission we tried where it took way off out there, and then the waypoints disappeared, which could have been because I touched the sticks, so that could have been my fault. And then it didn't take any commands, so I walked out into the field, hit the return to home, and it took that. So it got a little closer, got within range, and it came back to us. And then the other thing, again, I'm going to repeat, I would not put it into GPS follow me mode. The drone went nuts, and you know, I was afraid that it might even have some kind of a flyaway or something. So that's why I quickly got out of that. Other than that, if you want to just try out a GPS drone and you know, take a little bit of video and a couple pictures, this might be a way to do it. So that's probably about the best I can say. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. The Holystone HS175. Interesting little product. All right, see you guys later.